So when I first got the idea I wanted to start a YouTube channel, I'm like any other creator. I'm lost. I don't know where to go. And don't get me wrong, I'm still kind of lost, but I knew I wanted to do something that was loosely conceptual, but mainly funny and fun. And it'd be like a time capsule for every story I tell. I'll be like, oh, I remember that. I remember this time period. And hopefully along the way, people will be like, we enjoy these stories too. But this one is not that. This one is no concept. It's just some crazy stories from when I was working at Wendy's.
So it's April.
So Wendy's was my first job I ever had. I started out when I was 17 and I worked from April to November. And all the things that I'm going to say in this video happened in that short time period. So God knows what happened after I left. But when I was hired on initially, I was hired by the greatest person that could ever hire you. My boss, my first boss that was there was a not elderly, but older white woman. And she was everything you would want in the first boss. She was stoic and she was moral and she was wise. And she gave me life advice and it's like, listen, kid. And she's like, you know, the type of woman that is older and skinny and just grab you by the shoulder with like a bear clasp of working at a fast food restaurant for 40 plus years and would be like, you're young, do something with yourself, do something with your life. Amazing. But she left after 3 weeks. 3 weeks, and she retired, and she was replaced by her protege, and it mirrored Joseph Stalin. You know, he started out where she was all just like a kiss ass, and then when she got into power, she turned into God. She had a real God complex. She told me, she was like, I feel like you're my son, but not in the good way, in the you need to tighten up way. And I'm like, this place is about to be hell. And hell ensued. So it must be like my 4th day working there. And there's an older gentleman in front of me, a retired veteran. Shout out my last video. We love our veterans, but I'm on the register. I'm struggling. I'm sweating. I'm having a terrible time. Terrible go at it. And I hear arguing to my right. I'm like, this is sensory overload. I hate everything that's happening. And you're cussing in front of the old man. I'm like, cover your ears. Like, I don't know what they're doing. But I stop and I go, hey, what's going on over there? And he's like, oh, she arguing with somebody through the intercom. I'm like, all right, can't do nothing about that. But then it gets totally quiet. And that's way more scary than women arguing on the intercom. And they're like, oh shit, bro. Oh shit. She coming back around. She was not coming back around. She came to the front of the store where I work at, got out the car, came through the lobby, and she threw a strawberry lemonade on me. I'm like, bro, do you not know how drive-thrus work? Drive-thrus work where the nigga over on the fucking drive-thru is the one taking your order, not the one. Why would I? It's a woman that's arguing with you. Why? Whatever. Anybody who's worked at Wendy's, anybody who's ever went to Wendy's knows that if you get a strawberry lemonade at Wendy's, it's the most sticky thing ever. It's like the symbiote from Venom. It starts like at your finger and you get a little bit on your hand and then it just rises and it keeps crawling up you until you are strawberry lemonade. And that's 4 days in. That's tip of the iceberg. Let's talk about the time that an employee tried to rob us. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm what, 2 months in? I'm cool with all my coworkers. I'm good on the cash register now. I'm a cash register wizard. I'm making great conversations with the customers that come inside of there. I got a great rapport. We got regulars that all are cool with me. And then it's payday. And still, like, I'm just gonna call him Darnell. Darnell want to take his stupid ass in here with a stocking cap on. Like, bro, that is the worst form of disguise. You're better off with a mask that we be wearing during the pandemic. But no, he wants to come in here with a stocking cap on, and he's like, you know how the policy works here, right? I'm like, there's no way this nigga is about to rob us, acting like talking about something, you know how the policy works here. So the policy at Wendy's is, no matter what, if a guy's trying to rob you, weapon or no weapon, you have to give him the money. So he said, you know how the policy works here, right? And I go, you robbing us? And he go, I'm robbing y'all. I'm like, nigga, you're not disguising your voice. You're barely disguising your face. We know who you are, Darnell. Nigga, no. I'm like, yo, Leon. Yo, Leon. Darnell is robbing us. And then Leon, I'm calling him Leon. His name is not even Leon, but it's close to it. But he comes over here and he walks. He goes, he's the chillest motherfucker ever. He goes, yo, man, you know you shouldn't be robbing us. Don't you love a nigga who, when you're doing the wrong, he goes, come on now, you know you shouldn't be doing that. And the worst part about it is that it's payday. It's like, how are you broke on payday? This man had no money to even get a proper robbing mask and came in there talking about some, you know the policy, right? It's a camera right there, bro. Darnell, bro. You want to do this, bro. You going to come in on Tuesday? Are you coming in for your shift? So Darnell leaves out of embarrassment and we just have a good time about it. And he comes to work on Tuesday like he never tried to rob the store. That is the type of operation we are running. Let's get a little bit more lighthearted. Let's talk about my faults. Let's talk about where I flopped as a Wendy's employee. Cause God knows that these niggas done flopped. But I got finessed out of 25 Frosties. Free. Let me say it again. I got finessed out of 25 Frosties. Free. I like that. Free. So yeah, in 2017, there was this great Frosty campaign because the Frosties at Wendy's are so bomb. I still love Wendy's. Wendy's is my favorite fast food restaurant if I want to eat like a criminal. But there was these dog tags and you could put them on your keychain. He finessed me out of 25 Frosties, but I have no idea how he finessed 25 people out of their little Frosty dog tag keychains. But he did. And he came in there to an unexperienced cashier. So he came up to me and he goes, hey, bruh, I need some Frosties. And I went, nigga, okay. What the fuck? Who the fuck comes in here? Coming to McDonald's. I need some burgers. But I knew he was going to finesse me, or this is kind of sketchy because he really came in there saying, I need some Frosties. And I'm like, all right, word. Vanilla or chocolate. Simple. I'm making the Frosties. Making the Frosties. Got 8 Frosties. 16 Frosties, 20 Frosties. Get to about the 24th Frosty. My manager looking over like, bro, this man ordered a lot of Frosties, didn't? I'm like, yeah, bro, balling out of control. Isn't that right? I'm dapping bro up. And then he comes over there and then he notices, bro, you cannot use more than one free Frosty dog tag per like meal or coming in. And as he hears that, I have no idea how this man went like this and grabbed all of the Frosties without any of them spilling and ran to his, bruh. I kid you not, this man grabbed 25 Frosties. He defied physics. Bro, the space-time continuum should have broke at that moment. It should have stopped and then paused. And like Morpheus should have came out and been like, 25 Frosties? Oh, this simulation, this is broken. This universe is a failure. We gotta retry. We gotta do retrials. Shit really got me scratching my head still. I think about this about 3 days a week. This man really grabbed 25 Frosties. And then when it's your first job, you really, stuff got weight. You know what I mean? So, you know, you get that little uh-oh feeling in you, and you start turning red. And then my manager mad as hell at me. And then I actually care. Now I would not give a fuck. That's like why I said, like, putting yourself in the younger body. Like, I mean, he deserves those 25 Frosties. The fact that he grabbed all 25 of them and didn't spill one. Come on now, you gotta can we not appreciate an anomaly here? So I don't want to just tell criminal and ratchet stories. Let's tell some heartwarming stories. Nobody's gonna vibe with this because everybody loves negativity. I love negativity, but I'm gonna tell some heartwarming thing. There was a little girl that was the child of one of the employees. I'm gonna say the employee's real name, Shannon. Your daughter was saving my life some days. You know how hard it was being in high school and you're taking AP classes, and then I'm working 40 hours a week because I don't know child labor laws, and they're just abusing a young high schooler for everything. Like, can you come in? Nah, what you doing? I'm like, damn, I'm coming in. Yes, sir. Back when I used to give a shit. But this little girl, you know how kids are. Anytime there was dead in the store, put her arms on the counter because kids are short. She's like, can I get a free cheeseburger? I'm like, do you have some money for a free cheeseburger? And she's like, I don't. I'm like, well, you can't have a free cheeseburger. She's like, you're killing me, man. And that was her little catchphrase. And She was the sweetest thing. We talk about all types of stuff, school, colors, and art and stuff like that. And she could draw. That little girl was carrying my mood some days. And it's the first time I thought kids wouldn't be such a bad thing. So shout out that little girl, wherever you are, Shannon, wherever you are. Thank y'all both. So when I was catching up with my old coworkers, and I'm like, you remember how crazy it was? You remember any crazy stories I might be forgetting about? And the story that they always want to tell is the story where I almost stabbed a man in Wendy's. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So super simple story. I'm chatting it up with coworkers, you know, chopping it up with the boys, and we talking about God, religion, and there's a guy who's like, oh, what about you, Rasoon? And I'm like, well, my parents were both two different religions, and I wasn't raised in a very religious household anyway, and then my friends are Christian, so I'm just like, I'm just be nothing, because I don't really think anybody knows what they're talking about. We're just choosing a team, blah, 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 blah. You believe what you want to believe in, I believe what I want to believe in, and we'll live in harmony. We can all just be good people to each other. But the guy who walked in wasn't really fucking with that philosophy, and he overheard it. I didn't even know he was there. And then he looked at me, and he's like, oh, so you don't believe in a God? And I'm like, oh, not really. But it's all good. I mean, whatever you believe in, that's cool. And he's like, so you atheist? And I'm like, I guess. You don't gotta put a label on it. It's just fuck. I hate the word atheist. Them niggas is stupid. They suck. They always doing some dumb shit. I don't want to be associated with them. But he's like, if you was in my family and you didn't believe in God, I would slap the shit out you. And I'm like, no, you wouldn't. And he like, nigga, I fought a nigga like you. And bro's a big dude, and I'm a 17-year-old scrawny kid, skinnier than I am now. So I'm like, what do? I keep the switchblade on me because, you know, I can't get caught lacking by a bear or a lion, something like that. And I'm like, all right, bro, I'm about to come across. We're going to see what you're going to do. And then, bro, I grabbed the knife, come around the corner, and then my coworker, my main, I guess like my coworker best friend, he grabbed my arm, and he go, my nigga, stop. Stop. I guess I would have murdered somebody that day. Or not. Or I would have just went around there and be like, hey, man. Wow. Y'all see the vibe? I'm not a murderer. I'm an optimist. I'm not a violent person at all, but somebody says they're going to slap the shit out you on a whim. Sometimes you got to take it there. And to tie this up with a nice bow, the reason why I quit. So I finally got put on a child labor laws by a nigga I did not like. So he's like, we should hang out sometime. And I'm like, I can't. I got to work. Great alibi. And a true alibi because I'm working 40 hours a week. And then he's like, you know that's child labor. I'm like, what? And I look into it and I'm like, wow. And I go to my manager. I'm like, hey, I know I shouldn't be working more than this many hours a week. And you're working me more than that. And I could like get this place shut down over this shit. And she's like, okay, we're going to shorten your hours. 2 weeks go by, didn't shorten my hours. 4 weeks go by, didn't shorten my hours. Wow. Now they trying me. And the moment where they tried me the hardest is when a homeless guy came inside of Wendy's and decided, the lobby seems like a great place to take a shit. And when he did so, who would they all look at? Me, the gopher. Oh, tough. Why'd I put up with this? And I look at it, the shit, I mean. I look at my manager and I go, nope, dipped, never came back. I said this video wasn't going to have a concept, and it still doesn't, but if you can take anything from this video, learn from my mistakes, and if somebody's leeching off you, some corporation, anything is making your life quality go down significantly, just stop. Please, it does not matter. It does not matter. I don't care what she's doing to you. I don't care what the corporation is bringing in health insurance or money. Quit. Fuck that. Bye.